Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Fikemi and thank you for stopping by. In today's video, I decided to take my time to hand sew some face masks. Now, face masks are being used as a means to flatten the coronavirus curve in the world today. So I saw some really nice looking patterns on YouTube here, and I decided to try to recreate some of the patterns that I saw. And I don't have a sewing machine. I don't even have a hand stitching machine. So I ended up hand sewing these masks, and trust me, it was a very therapeutic process. It was just me and the pattern sewing on my bed. It wasn't an entirely tedious process, but choosing the patterns I think were. Now there are the more like the simpler patterns that are going around, but I decided to choose the more geometric ones that looked interesting enough for me to want to sew. So these are all the masks. Yes, I ended up sewing 7 of them. And in this video, I am going to take you through the pattern, what the mask looks like, and my general thoughts on whether it is workable, feasible, wearable, or not. So if you would love to see what my masks look like, then keep on watching. All right, let's get started. So the very first pattern I recreated looks like this. And the mask itself looks like this. Now the mask itself, let me get the mask. The mask itself was not hard to sew. It was just a very simple pattern, to be honest. And I actually love this pattern. Why? Because it has a chin support. It has an area where it tucks into your chin. And also it has this nasal bridge, like a tapered nasal part for your nose. And it's double lined and also comes with a filter pocket. Now for the filter, you could use an old mask, medical mask, or you could actually line these with, we call it gum stay, interfacing. Yes, if you line these, even though these are like 2-ply, if you line these with interfacing, then you have some level of filtration when it comes to all these kind of cloth masks. So for me, this particular mask was really snug on my face, and I actually love the way it fits, and I have no issues with it whatsoever. It makes me look like a Darth Vader type figure. Yeah, so is it something I would keep on sewing and recreating every time I need a cloth mask? Yes, this pattern is one of them. But if you are to recreate this, make sure you make the chin portion a little bit deeper, because I found that it was a little bit shallow. Is that word? Yes. It was a little bit, it didn't sit so well on my chin, but I just needed an adjustment for it to go a little bit deeper. So the very first mask done. Now the material used are just pieces of Ankara that I had lying around at home. I didn't really spend a dime, to be honest, sewing these masks. I already had the elastic bands at home. I have the material, I have the needle, I have the thread. So I didn't incur any cost making these masks. So let's go on to mask number 2. The second mask, and well, the pattern that I decided to sew looks like this. And the mask itself looks like this. Now, the mask itself, I had no issues with it whatsoever. I found that this particular pattern had a little bit more fit, was a little bit more fitting on my face, but it didn't really have any chin, it didn't really hug my chin area. And for the length, it was a bit short, to be honest. So if you are recreating this pattern, make sure you add a little length to the sides. And As usual, this is a double ply and it has a filter portion as well. So, oh yes, and a nasal ridge. Now this, I don't mind this particular pattern. I just find that it's a little bit small and I would prefer a little bit more chin area with the mask. So yes, it's a yes for me, but it could do with a little adjustments. So let's go on to mask number 3. The third pattern I ended up sewing that gave me my third mask looks like this. And the mask itself looks like this. To me, the pattern reminds me of fly fishing, drawing a fish. Yes, but guess what? Honestly, this mask was the most fitting of the first 3, yes, that I sewed, because the chin area, it fit really snugly, and I don't know, this was like the best of all 7, to be honest. This was the best. Now, one thing I would say about all the patterns that I have is that they have the provision for the nasal ridge. And I think, in all honesty, that gives more definition to your mask as against just a central joining point. But having that nasal definition just goes a very long way. Now, one thing I love about this particular mask is the fact that it has a 3-point breathing system, or it has like this triangular area that you can breathe through. And for me, that just makes a whole lot of difference. You have more room for your nose to sit in, and just you have even more space to talk inside the mask. So for me, this particular pattern is a winner in my books, and I think it would have a little bit more commercial viability. Now this is double lined as well, and also has a filter portion for you to put a filter in if you so desire. So let's go on to mask number 4. Now for the 4th mask, the pattern looked like this. And the mask itself looks like this. Now, this pattern was very confusing to sew, to be honest. I mean, after drafting and after putting the masks together, it wasn't as intimidating as drawing out this pattern. But the mask itself, give me a minute. Yeah. So the mask itself is a really I don't know. This is a very cute mask. Now, with all that complexity, with the curves and with the cutouts, this has a nasal ridge, as usual, and a chin area, because those two fly-looking things, they actually come up to join here and here, and that forms where sits under, right under. It is so snug under the chin. Now this mask is a little bit short on the edges, so if you are recreating it, just make sure you add a little length to the sides, or you try to make the elastic a little bit looser than what I have like sewn here or what is in the video. But for me, this mask, it's pretty good. It's a more complex pattern to sew, but the end results are actually worth it. Now, as usual, this is double ply and it has a filter portion as well if you want to put a filter in. Well, for me, this mask it's a pretty decent one. Yes, would I recreate this anytime I need a mask? Yes, but with the adjustments that I spoke about. Now let's go on to mask number 5. Now, as a note, or as a rejoinder, or as a disclaimer, I didn't sew these masks in one day. I think it took me like a couple of weeks because I had other things I was doing in between. So this wasn't a day's project. Nah, it wasn't. So moving on to mask number 5. Now mask number 5 has a pattern that looks like this. Doesn't this look interesting? Like, how does this join up to be a mask? And the mask itself looks like this. Now, this pattern was just really annoying to draw and sew at the same time, but the mask itself is a beauty. Honestly, I don't know. I think I'm just going to have to do a close-up of this particular one so that you can see what I am talking about. Now, this particular pattern does not have a dedicated drawn nasal ridge. Now, if you are recreating any of those other ones, then you'll understand where I'm coming from. But by the time you fold up this pattern, it literally folds to give you that ridge. So there is no stitch line on this edge, but the stitch lines are down here and across. And that is what the pattern closes up to look like. It's ingenious. It's just, it's really, really, I don't know if it's maths or the fact that there are very good template makers or crafters out there that are coming up with all these designs. But this was a very brilliant sew. Now this particular pattern also has the triangular or the 3-point breathing system, and it has a lot of room, it has a lot of space, and yes, it also has a chin area, so it really covers your chin. Yeah, it's double ply and has a filter pocket as well, and is very, 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 very sturdy. It's very sturdy on the face. It covers most of the real estate on my face, and I am not mad at that. So let's go on to mask number 6. So mask number 6 has a pattern that looks like this. It's a very simple one, and the mask itself was very easy to sew. It basically just has a nasal bridge and a chin portion and the mask itself. So this was one of the simpler ones to sew. It was really, really easy to sew. And yeah, it's a really large mask. Well, it's not so large, but it's a fairly simple mask to sew. It's very, very simple. So even if you would want to recreate this, this took less than a couple of minutes to sew. Honestly, there wasn't really any. I just decided to throw this very simple one in so that I know what a more generic, simple pattern feels like to sew. So this has 2 plies as well, and also a filter pocket if you want to put a filter in. And I am not mad at this pattern. Is it something I would recreate? Yes, because it's very easy to sew. It's very, or it doesn't take so much time to sew, on like the other ones where you have to join and mix and match and whatnot. But this, yes, it's all right. It's okay. So this pattern does it for me. So moving on to mask number 7 and the final one, the final mask in this series. So mask number 7, 1 minute. So mask number 7 has a pattern that looks like this. I think I picked the more annoying one to cut to sew last, to be honest. And the mask itself looks like this. Now the concept of this mask looks like mask number 5. It has, by the time you join up or you join the pattern and you sew, it has this area that joins up to become where the chin rests on. But the difference between this and mask number 5 is that this has a dedicated nasal ridge. And for me, this mask has the most character. It also has the 3-point triangular breathing system that I have come to embrace when it comes to making these handmade masks. I just find that having that portion gives you more real estate, or more in terms of breathability, and the fact that you can literally talk when you have more space inside the mask. Now, as with all the masks that I have shown, the 6 masks, this is a double ply mask as well, and also has a filter pocket if you are interested in using a filter. And is it one that I would recreate? Yes, it is. This mask for me is just, it's as perfect as mask number 3 on my face. I love the construction. I love the way it looks on my face, and it's not something that I would be mad at wearing on the streets. So yes. So if I were to choose the patterns I love the most, I would say masks number 3, 5, and 7. Oh my goodness, the odd numbers. I'm an even girl. I'm not an odd numbered person, but the odd numbers win today. So masks number 3, 5, and 7 are actually winners in my books. The patterns were so beautiful to recreate, and just the joining process, the masks themselves, how they fit my face are just... So out of the 7, 3, thumbs up to 3. So if you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, if you didn't catch this piece of information in the beginning of the video, all these masks are hand sewn masks. They were very easy to sew. I did not break a needle or injure myself sewing these masks. So I will see you in my next video, and don't forget social distancing and keep safe. Bye.